Imagine living in a home that sits secluded in a forest, on a 100-kilometer beach, or on top of a mountain. In this series, we travel the globe to explore some of the world's most secret homes, hidden away in truly inspiring locations. From stunning lakeside escapes and secluded mountain cabins,
our favorite activity is sitting here and looking at the view,
to coastal sanctuaries and city treasures.
Spaces like this can cause the spirit to soar.
We explore how these spectacular homes were built.
The whole thing is on the move, all the way along this coastline.
And meet the people who live in them.
We fell in love with the nature, the sea. It was a love at first sight.
As we discover the world's most secret homes. Lying at the easternmost point of Spain and nestled on 200 kilometers of dramatic coastline is the small town of Javia. With vast stretches of rugged cliffs and secluded coves, this is a spectacular landscape. It's the perfect place to build your very own clifftop hideaway. Perched on a hillside, surrounded by uninterrupted views of this exclusive coastline, lies a house which lives up to the majesty of its location. Tucked into a corner plot to feel secluded from its neighbours. Taking its name from the local beach, this is Sardinara House. The owners of this home are Rosa Castelví Busquets and her daughter, also called Rosa. They built the house 5 years ago.
I've spent my entire life in Javia during the summers. Before that, my mother actually spent her summers here, which is why I think she picked the place. It was my mother's dream to actually be next to the sea and to have a house next to the sea.
They worked with architect Ramon Esteve to hunt down the plot for their home.
We spent more than 1 year looking for this plot. When I arrived here the first time, it was very exciting.
360-degree view of Javia. The sea, of course, on most sides, but then the back of the house, it faces the mountain. It's beautiful.
The house covers 1,285 square meters over 3 floors. On the top floor is the master bedroom, with ensuite and dressing area. There are 3 further bedrooms, all with their own ensuite bathrooms and walk-in wardrobes. There is also a laundry room. On the ground floor is the living area, dining room and kitchen. All of these lead onto the outdoor terrace, sitting area and pool. On the lower level, there are 3 further guest bedrooms, along with an indoor pool area. The approach to the house gives nothing away, with the front door completely hidden from view.
The entrance is at the back, so when people arrive at the house, you start seeing parts of it, but until you walk to the front, you don't see the full extent of the view. The house doesn't really give itself away. You can't really see the sea when you're standing here. I get so excited when I'm back and when I'm about to enter.
Walking into the house, you pass through a narrow corridor. This teases you with a glimpse of what's in store.
They're slowly entering the area where they're going to get the full view.
It's not until you enter the living space that the house really opens out to the most incredible panoramic view.
When guests arrive, it's actually hard to keep them inside. They run to the terrace really quickly.
In a clear day, you can see also Ibiza from here. One of the features is in the corner. You have the two angles open to the landscape and to the sea.
Every time that I come here, I feel like it's a first time because something about it has changed. It's mesmerizing. You appreciate it every time.
And it's not just the view that takes your breath away. A 25-meter infinity pool floats you straight out to sea.
When you're in the pool and you're looking out, it feels like you're in the ocean because there's almost no distinction between you and what you see in front. You don't have the perception that you're on a cliff. You just feel like you're right on top of the water and sort of floating above the sea.
The house maximizes the views from every angle, and inside is no different. With panoramic views from each of the living spaces on the ground floor, through to each bedroom upstairs. It doesn't matter where you are in this property, there's a view to be seen from every window.
All rooms point towards the sea. I love my room. The best part is that when you wake up, the sun is rising. You know, the sky and the sea merge together and you just feel like you're in this flame of colors.
The perspective of the rooms is open, like the two walls are not parallel and is open to the sea.
Waking up in the morning is an incredible experience. You'll get to see the best sunrise that you've ever seen.
Even the staircase has been considered as a sculptural element, with the sea visible through its translucent glass treads. This is truly a one-of-a-kind home.
We have the highest energies classification. All the air conditioning and the heating work with the geothermal energy. The house takes advantage of the weather conditions. The sun in one side and the wind in the other side. The reason the shape of the house is open to the east part, the main facade, you have the sun in the morning until the afternoon. And the best wind here is the east in the summer. These shuttles are motorized and you can open and close in order to protect to the sun.
And there's one feature that really takes things to the next level.
We have an elevator which connects the 3 floors. And
It's actually quite handy. We use it, maybe not for ourselves so much, but definitely for the luggage.
The glass lift takes you down to the home's hidden lower level. Rosa and her family wanted somewhere they could enjoy all year. So they integrated this extraordinary indoor pool into the design.
One of my favorite things about the indoor pool is the fact that you can see the outdoor pool.
You can enjoy outside and inside. With the window, I link both. As you walk through the house, you discover new places. But for me, it's the most special house.
But this home holds one more surprise.
Down from the garden, you have a little path. It's all surrounded by pine trees, and that is also part of our plot.
At the end of this winding path is a secret doorway.
Right behind this door, we have what we consider to be the cherry on top of the property.
The doorway opens onto a secluded cove, allowing the family direct access to the crystal clear waters of this beautiful coastline.
I feel very, very lucky. I feel very grateful that I get to experience this, and I get to be by the beach every day if I want to. It's really a joy.
If ever there was a home that turned a dream into reality, it must be this one. (6,800 kilometers west is West Virginia in the USA. The wild landscape here is a dramatic mix of winding rivers, stark cliff faces, and deep canyons. It's a harsh but beautiful wilderness, a land to get lost in, and the perfect place to build a secret retreat. Perched high on top of an abandoned quarry, nestles the appropriately named Hawk's Nest. This house is built from steel, concrete, glass, and ipe, a tough hardwood that's been known to bend nails. It's a house that's been built for all weathers. The owner of this secret home is artist Laurie Straight.
I became a sculptor when I went to France. I lived in France for almost 30 years. Then I decided it was time to come back to the United States because I didn't think that I would find the place I was looking for in France. And I was able to find this place, this quarry. It's exactly what I had in my mind.
Searching for solitude and inspiration, Laurie has created her ideal hideaway.
As you come up the drive, you get a glimpse of the house, but it's provocative because it's hard to tell what it is. And then you come around the bend and there is the house.
This house clings to the West Virginia cliff top. The living spaces are all on one level. A cantilevered section of the building houses an artist's studio. At the other end of the house is the master bedroom suite with bathroom. The central space contains the generously glazed living area, kitchen, and dining area, which leads out onto a small terrace. The house stands on two concrete pillars anchored into the bedrock. One of the pillars contains the front door and staircase. As an artist, it wasn't only the design of the house that was important to Laurie, but also the spectacular views around it.
Once the house is in view, then the eye is drawn to the frame in the middle of the house where there's just the horizon and the rocks on the edge of the cliff. They become part of the house, or the house becomes part of them.
After buying the land, Laurie chose Greg Wiedemann to design her secret clifftop home.
When I came here with Laurie for the first time, we came to this very spot and we said, this is it. This is where we can make a place that is part of this view.
The staggering views reveal themselves as you walk up the open staircase.
And then all of a sudden, there it is, the river, the trees across the river, and now I see the rocks. And this is what it's all about.
Laurie wanted nothing to get in the way of this spectacular outlook.
Now we're in the center of the house. This is the part that goes over the big gap between the two pillars, and so we're really sort of floating on air here. The living space, it's meant to allow the beauty of the surroundings to come into the house. So the furniture I chose is minimal and designed to be comfortable, at the same time not to be the interesting part of the room. The interesting part of the room is the outside. I was happy to have the house all white, and one of the architects kept pushing me. No, you're not going to be happy with that. You need color, get color. So finally I saw this beautiful red, and I decided that that's what this ceiling would be over the kitchen. Of course, that architect said, oh no, you're not going to be happy with that. And yet, I think it's great.
Laurie wanted the design of the master bedroom to become part of the landscape itself.
The bedroom is on one of the cantilevers, so it's really floating in space. I like being here. I like having the feeling of floating, almost like a balloon being let go and just existing without attachment. It's just a magical place to be. A really nice part of this room is this corner, which is all glass and seems to be on the edge of the cliff. It is an exhilarating view. People who suffer from fear of heights don't come here.
It's most definitely a panorama one would never get tired of. Laurie's studio is at the far end of the house.
It's a real privilege to have a space to work in my house because there's no excuse for not working. And this is the spot that inspires me. What I do may not look like what I see, but it's the feeling that I have here of beauty, peace, quiet, purity, being in nature.
The greatest challenge for Greg was to create a structure that appeared to float in midair.
The house was designed to gently touch the earth. Where the house doesn't need to meet the ground, it doesn't. The cantilever here totally separates the upper part of the house from the ground. It's suspended above to take advantage of views and to preserve the natural beauty of the site.
Anchoring the house into the edge of the cliff called for innovative engineering. It was impossible to excavate foundations deep into the solid bedrock here. So Greg decided to make use of the natural cracks in the rock instead. He built 2 molds around the rock to create the supporting pillars. Workers poured 154 cubic meters of concrete into the molds to fill the cracks in the bedrock and create a solid base upon which they could build the house. Constructing this magnificent home in a remote area proved to be demanding for the team.
It was quite a challenge, actually, to build the house because the steel had to be brought in along a winding road. The winds off of the north here, you're very exposed at the edge of a cliff.
But the ingenious engineering and hard work paid off.
The house is really all about what's outside the house. And I think that's a great tribute to the architects, that they made a house that is mostly outside.
But when you have a house built on a cliff top, how do you get even closer to the edge?
The balcony is really important to me because this is the way that we got the house to be even closer to the cliff. That's the feeling with the house and with the balcony, that I'm really just over the void, just on the edge. The house is known as Hawk's Nest because you're really at eye level with the hawks. It was very important to me to be able to access the river. And then when I'm down by the river, looking up at the house, it's just one long line of windows. It's a sculpture in itself. It's a little gem. It's just perfect.
This house is a slice of modernity, sitting atop the ancient cliffs of West Virginia. Laurie has created one final secret space here, a private place where she can be at one with the view she's so fallen in love with.
The red seat is embedded in the rock, so it's a permanent fixture. I wanted to put it, of course, close to the cliff, so I could be out here by myself. It makes me feel like I'm part of the land, like I belong here. It's my place.
Laurie has taken her artistic sensibilities and created a unique home in this spectacular wilderness. (6,162 kilometers northeast is Suffolk, in the east of England. A land of big skies and magnificent coastline. Covering nearly 4,000 square kilometers, it's an unspoilt landscape of wild marshes and winding estuaries. Hidden amongst the marshes here, with only a glimpse of its structure visible to passers-by, sits something that looks like it's come from the future. Jutting out into the East Anglian coastline lies an intriguing wedge-shaped building. A home that is tucked away yet connects to the landscape and makes a very big statement. This is Marsh Hill. This contemporary home was built just 3 years ago for owners Ben Baglio and Richard Wilson and their dog Henry. They fell in love with this area after visiting regularly from London for many years and decided they wanted a second home here.
We considered looking at existing properties, but it soon became clear that it might be much more interesting and fun to build our own house.
This building is perched overlooking a river and marshland. The house covers 250 meters squared over 2 main floors. On the top floor, at the tallest part of the wedge, is the master bedroom, bathroom, and a study area. Below this, on the ground floor, is the kitchen with an adjacent utility space. In the center of the house is a large open-plan living area. And beyond this, at the far end of the wedge, are the 2 guest bedrooms, bathroom, and a studio. In the basement below the kitchen, there's a small cellar. For Ben and Richard, it was all about having a house to take in the breathtaking surroundings, as well as large, spacious rooms with plenty of light.
When you come into the house, you enter via a quite low ceiling, and that's deliberate to give the reveal of the enormous double-height living room ceiling. You do get a sense of the entire house opening up. We have 2 large windows which look out onto the marshes.
I mean, this is the reason that the plot appealed to us.
It was important for Ben and Richard to have plenty of space for guests. So moving through the long hallway, the guest accommodation peels off, revealing a uniquely designed room.
One of the things that we wanted to achieve in the bedrooms was a feeling of coziness. It, like all the other rooms, faces to the south, so you get a fantastic view of the marshes and the reed beds.
We've got these frame mirrors, but behind is actually a large wardrobe. We actually have one guest who came and stayed in this room and thought it was just a mirror, and it never occurred to him it was a wardrobe.
This is a house full of surprises. But building it was a huge engineering challenge. After falling in love with the site 7 years ago, with their hearts set on building their new home here, Richard discovered a major problem with the land, which is right on the River Alde.
One night, Richard was looking at topographic maps, as he sometimes does, and said, "Oh no." And I said, "Well, what's that?" And he said, "It's in a floodplain." And I thought, oh, good God, no, we'd really fallen for this place. And he had found a pretty major problem.
To limit the risks of building their dream home on a floodplain, they worked with architect Ian Bramwell.
Most of Ben and Richard's land is very low. There is one corner, which is the far west corner, which is higher ground. So the only place that we could really place a building was on this highest ground. So this is the far end of the site. It's the point where the house is lowest and most discreet. And we're going to look up and we're going to see the twist of this wonderful big arc of arching roof, just gliding up, so you get this fantastic curve that raises up, almost like a ski jump. When you're standing at the end of the building and you move south, you suddenly reveal the length of the building with this very long, oblong-shaped plan that you have.
And so the idea of the wedge-shaped house was born. But before construction could begin, the builders faced another obstacle. As the site was so close to the coast, the ground was unstable. To stop the building from cracking or subsiding, the site required a process called piling to take place before construction work could begin. Piling creates a strong foundation for the house to be built on. Workers drove long steel tubes into the ground up to 12 meters deep. This is done using a mechanical hammer. Once they hit solid ground, they fill the tubes with concrete. Then they place a steel beam between each pile. thus creating a solid foundation for the house so construction work can take place in a traditional way. Ian wanted this house to blend into its surroundings, so he took inspiration from the landscape and wildlife here.
We're sitting in the seaside town of Aldborough, and like every seaside town, it's occupied by gulls, and the herring gull is quite distinctive. The greyness of a herring gull's wing is portrayed through the roof. And then you have the white, the sort of underbelly of the bird, with this very small orange accent. The only colour really on the external part of the house is the orange front door, which invites you in.
Whilst blending into the landscape, the house is designed to take in breathtaking surroundings from every room.
At the beginning of the design process, obviously the view was so important to us. So we aligned the house long and thin so that every room has a view.
The views are fantastic and always changing.
One room that really connects Ben and Richard to the outdoors and takes advantage of the spectacular views is the kitchen. They've made the most of this space by adding a large picture window.
In the summer, you can open it all the way across like this. We can eat inside and be sheltered from the wind, but still very much enjoy nature and enjoy the view.
But there's more to this room than meets the eye. A secret hiding behind a hidden door.
What looks like a cupboard here is actually the entrance to the utility room.
Well, you definitely don't expect a whole room to be hidden away behind a kitchen cupboard. Concealed within this secret room is another hidden feature. A hydraulic mechanism opens this trapdoor to reveal a hidden room below. This room not only houses the pipework and controls for much of the house, it also makes the perfect cellar for Ben and Richard to store their collection of fine wine.
Always enjoy spending time here. It's just a very relaxing place to be. We love it, and we anticipate that we'll be here for a long time to come.
Ben and Richard have created a beautiful house in a picturesque location. Its clever design means you really feel like you have your very own piece of the English countryside. (1,300 kilometers northeast is Sweden, a country of outstanding natural beauty. Lying on the east coast of the Scandinavian peninsula, the stunning lakes and ancient woodlands here are the ideal location to build your very own wilderness retreat. Burrowed away into the side of a mountain, built to incorporate the granite and wood from the rocks and forest around it, is an intriguing secret home. This is the Woodland Retreat. Erika Wennerstrom is the owner of this striking home and had it built after wanting a place where she and her family could be completely immersed in nature.
Once I started looking for a plot, it proved really difficult actually to find the perfect combination, close to infrastructure, close to city, but still remote and like submerged into nature. The design of this house is not at all what it was supposed to be from start. My first idea was to have two containers, more or less, stacked on top of each other. To use also the basis of the mountain, but in different heights. But eventually came down to mathematics. It was really difficult to get the required square meters out of that type of form. It would look cool, but it wouldn't necessarily be so functional. I completed a brief of maybe 200 pages. Basically a summary or condensed summary of all my ideas and all the creative process that's been going on in my head for quite a while. The defining factor for sure was the landscape here, the attraction of being completely alone, a little bit of isolation. My kids can really experience nature as it is. Here it's totally unspoilt.
The house covers 601 square meters and is made up of 2 timber cubes cleverly linked together by a single-story section. On the top floor of the smaller cube is the master suite and dressing room. The larger cube has 2 guest bedrooms and a bathroom. Downstairs, there's an open-plan kitchen and dining room with a mezzanine reading area. In the central corridor is a utility room and further guest bedroom. And this leads to the main living room and TV room. Erica wanted a house that blended into the landscape whilst using materials that honour local building traditions.
I went for the pine wood construction because it's the most traditional way of building houses in Sweden. It felt very natural to go with the materials that you could find in the wood around you.
But it's not just the materials that help to integrate this house into the forest. As you approach the entrance, its position on the rock helps to hide it from view.
Many people who come here, they call me just outside and they say, well, I'm here, but there's no house. It's so nested behind the mountain, you can't really find it. And that's what I love about it. It's totally nestled away.
From the outside, the house is modest and unassuming. Perched on the edge of a cliff face, you have no idea what's in store when you enter. A vast double-height living space with floor-to-ceiling windows helps take in that incredible view.
We wanted to maximize the light coming in, and the outward view here is fantastic. This part of the house is the area where we socialize, where we hang out. All the social areas here are designed to use together, and we spend a lot more time all together as a family.
But when Erica is after some quiet time, she has the perfect spot to relax in.
You have the mezzanine and the entresol, a defining characteristic for the house itself. The perfect way of utilizing the mountain as a backdrop. I think this space has an important place in my heart because to everybody else it's more of a walkthrough. This has turned into my favorite spot where I just have some time on my own. I always go to this sofa and sit here and view the nature or just read a book or be on my own a little bit.
When it came to designing the house, Erica had clear ideas of what she wanted and called on architect Max Holst to help realize her dreams.
We spoke the same language, basically. I mean, the things she said about the site, about the way she wanted the house to blend into the landscape and so on, that could have been on my webpage.
Erica didn't just want to be surrounded by nature, she wanted to live within it.
You have the nature very close up everywhere you look. I wanted it to continue also in through the walls. This living room is much more like cozy. This is where we end up during the evening.
Upstairs, you feel even more immersed in the forest.
The view of this tree every morning when I wake up is amazing. You almost feel like a squirrel in the tree outside. This is absolutely the pinnacle of like harmony for me.
As well as integrating this home into its surroundings, it was important for Erica to minimize its impact on the natural terrain.
Instead of carving out or destroying or rearranging the area, thankfully we found some really good plateaus on the mountain for the foundation of the house.
To minimize the disruption of the landscape, the house sits on a relatively small footprint.
I had to do 2 or 3 attempts with the government to prove my point on using the actual form of the mountain as basis for the foundation.
Our idea was not to have to blast anything, but if we placed the house on top of the rock, it would have been too high. So we did have to blast some rock. We really liked the fact that this rock was coming into the house.
Building a house into the rock face was a complex process. To create a flat surface, workers used controlled explosives to blast a small area of the rock. They drilled small holes into the rock and filled them with dynamite. They then placed heavy matting over the top of the holes to contain the debris. Once the rock was blasted, they removed the rubble and spread a 30-centimeter gravel layer over the entire site. They used a machine called a vibrator to compact the gravel, and then they placed insulation and on top of that, a layer of concrete. This created a flat, stable surface to build the house on. The position of this house in the cliff face allows it to hide one more secret. Built right on the edge of the rock is a hidden swimming pool that you'd have no idea was there.
When people come here and they look over the edge, it's like, oh! So that's also a little bit of a surprise. This house has always come with a pool in my head. I saw this pool actually in Portugal, a black pool hanging on top of an edge. And I thought, that's the pool I want to have. What I like about this pool is it just gives exactly what you need when you are pretty exposed to the sunlight as you are here on the mountain. And it's just beautiful to look at. You can see the trees reflected in the water, and yeah, it's just a beautiful part of the picture when you look out.
This is a unique home that immerses you into nature and the forest that surrounds it.
Every time I turn up my car on the driveway, it's a complete feel of like serenity. So I think this house really plays well into our role as a family. It's drawing us closer together. We do hikes, small hikes, almost every day.
Erica has built the perfect place to retreat to and created a home engineered seamlessly into the hillside.